Hi, I'm Justin Jensen, and welcome to my channel. Make your life count. We only get so many trips around the sun. Enjoy your loved ones. Love your life and perfect your life. Be with people who inspire you. Take time to smell the roses. Know when you're in the good times of life, life can end at any moment. Hello, guys. Oh my God. We're on air. How about that? How's everyone doing? Everyone good? I think the intro is kind of cheesy, but it works. All right. How's everyone doing? It's good to see everyone. I am sorry that I had to reschedule for 5 o'clock Eastern. I was trying to get a hold of Marissa. She wasn't answering. I was trying to fix a new board for my computer that does sound effects and makes things a little easier so I'm not always clicking and clicking this and clicking that. Yeah, just push a button and it goes, right? So Justin, your intro gave me anxiety about ending at any moment. Yes, that's why we got to enjoy it, right? That's why we have to enjoy every single moment. We forget that sometimes. And like, I think we realize that, unfortunately, usually most of us, whenever something really bad happens, or when we lose a loved one or something awful happens, but we just have to remember, if you go to a hospital, you kind of remember that. If you go to, especially a children's hospital, which is a thing that, unfortunately, I wish there was never such thing as, I wish children never needed a hospital, right? But it happens. Thank you, Crimea River. You're very kind to me. I really appreciate your support on this channel. Thank you. So we are going to be talking about sweet Serenity McKinney. For those of you that's been with me since this story, since the beginning, Serenity is a little girl who had a tragic and definitely uncalled for ending due to, in my opinion, selfishness, drugs, that kind of thing. So the mother got with this guy, and he had a bad temper, and people was trying, everyone was trying to reach out to the mother, but the new stepdad, I guess you could say, nobody would he wouldn't let them get in touch with him. So Serenity was missing over a year, and the mother and the stepfather, or the boyfriend rather, they they wouldn't talk. They would not talk. And we didn't kind of know their location for a while. They were caught, I believe it was in Kansas. And then even after we found the stepdad the boyfriend and the dad, the boyfriend and the dad, the boyfriend and the mother, they still wouldn't talk. Even after they was holding them in jail, and they, you know, it was kind of like the Lori Vallow Daybell, Chad Daybell kind of thing. There was like, you know, we're going to hold you until you talk, and you're going to tell us where that baby is. And they would not speak. So what ended up happening, the police in Kentucky did some old fashioned police work, and with some forensics, and they found sweet Serenity on the side of a road, thrown out like yesterday's garbage. A sweet little baby. And she melts my heart. She's always melted my heart. This one has been a very hard case for me. Um, you know, we've kept in very close with the family, with certain members of the family, I should say. And we got a message yesterday, and Serenity's body was finally released 6 months after they found her, which was about a year of her laying on the side of the road in some luggage or a tote or something of that effect. Kind of like in an industrial area where, you know, there's like just different businesses, but they're very far kind of apart in that area. She was just thrown on the side of the road. And, you know, the biological father, he has had, you know, a rough time. He's did some bad things himself, as far as, you know, criminal history goes and stuff. But I know that he really misses his daughter, and I know he has a lot of regrets and stuff. But I'm going to pull up some of this stuff. I usually have it all pulled up, but I don't right now. I'm going to read you some text about what has been happening. Some of it I can share, some of it I can't. Give me 1 second. So, the medical examiner released her body this past Thursday. Then Serenity was cremated. And she says, we now have her ashes 6 months later. We are having her a birthday celebration for her on the 9th, so 2 days from now, with pinwheels for kids. The funeral is scheduled for the end of August, tentatively. Just wanted to update you. They have invited Marissa and I to the funeral. We are going to try to make that. Thank you, T Sip and Mama, for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Um, we are going to speak with the grandmother, one of the grandmothers, that is, uh, after the birthday party Tuesday. There'll be a lot of media there. They're still planning the funeral. There's certain things that they can't say right now because of an ongoing case. Um, we are going to make sure that both of them are locked up for their entire natural life. They want to make sure that Serenity is never forgotten. They want to talk about how Serenity has affected all of us, meaning them as a family. There's some really broken members of this family. Serenity was uh, one of the grandmother's only granddaughter. And they said they appreciate everything we've done for Serenity. Now, we're going to play some stuff. Just bear with me for 1 second because I don't have it pulled up. Um, First, we're going to go over stuff that people who don't know who Serenity is. This one's really hard for me, guys, to be honest with you. It's been hard for Marissa too, because nobody, the family was just outcrying, 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 um, to find, to plead with the to plead with Abby, which is the mother. Um, sorry, I'm trying to send some pictures to my phone or my email. Abby McKinney is the mother. Dakota Hill is the boyfriend. Forward share. Okay. This is why I'm behind, guys. I'm sorry. Right. Here we go. Thank you guys for being so patient. I appreciate it. Serenity McKinney case timeline. Missing 4-year-old found dead in Kentucky. This is brought to you by WHAS11.com. Credit goes to them for this, using this under the Fair Use Act of 1976. Perfect commercials.
Her mother was arrested, but tonight the family of Serenity McKinney still has no idea where the Shelby County toddler is located. She hasn't been seen since last year. WHS 11's Tom Lally is back in Shelbyville. He's been talking with the Sheriff's Department to explain the timeline, and we have an update on their search.
Serenity's mother, Abigail McKinley, was arrested in Kansas on Sunday. The charge was custodial interference. The Shelby County Sheriff's Department now tells us that's because she was supposed to hand Serenity over to the state, but that never happened. Let's look at the timeline, starting at Christmas Eve 2020, the last time Abigail's parents say they saw Serenity. In spring of 2021, her parents say CPS performed a welfare check. Then June was the last time Serenity's grandparents talked with her on the phone, because that fall, they say Abigail cut off communication. Just days ago, after continued attempts to reach Abigail, her parents met with Deputy Shelby Guffey to file a missing persons report on January 31st.
It's hard. I mean, I'm a mother myself. It would be a complete nightmare to not be able to see my grandchildren or my child. So.
She entered Serenity and her mother Abigail into the missing persons database, then executed warrants in Shelby, Bullitt, and Jefferson County where they believe Abigail had lived. Finally, on Sunday, Abigail was found in Kansas, where she was served. The state of Kentucky
So this is the mother. Her name is Abigail. People call her Abby.
taking emergency custody of her child, but Serenity was nowhere to be found. When they asked Abigail where she...
This little child, this little baby was thrown on the side of the road. Thrown on the side of the road, forgotten about for a year. Because of two evil people. I can't even say a mother, because a mother doesn't do that.
She was.
She just invoked her Fifth Amendment right not to speak to law enforcement.
Captain Kyle Tipton said that's why tips are so crucial as they continue to search for this missing 4-year-old.
Tips have helped us in this investigation, and without them, we wouldn't be where we are today.
We've been talking with Abigail's friends and family who...
Now, once they were caught, when they were on the run, they were caught in Kansas or Missouri. I think it was Kansas. They immediately invoked their Fifth Amendment. Both Abby and Dakota, the mother and her boyfriend. Now, the boyfriend, he's like 6'6". He's a very, very tall guy. He has a lot of issues. You can tell that they had been on drugs. Abby's mother, I get it that Abby is her daughter, but people who remember this, we had her on our program. And to us, it felt like Abby's mother the grandmother of Serenity, was more worried about Abby, her daughter, more than her granddaughter Serenity, who was thrown on the side of the road. She acted like her daughter was innocent, that her daughter would never do something like this. Whenever she was on the run, she wanted it to play like she was a victim of DV. And she may have been to an extent. However, once you're in the police custody and this guy can't harm you, you invoke your Fifth Amendment and you won't tell where your daughter's at? For weeks, she wouldn't tell where the daughters were, where Serenity was. McKinney, you're absolutely right. The mom was completely delusional. The one grandmother, the mother of Abby, was completely delusional. Now, she may not be now. I haven't spoke to her. You know, maybe she was going through a period where she was processing all of this. It's been 6 months since that. I hope she's had time to process this and know that her daughter acted with Dakota. She was the mother. You protect your child before you do your own life. Yes, it is still up to watch. We might play that in a minute.
Say they believe Serenity is alive, but they have no idea where she is. If you have any information that can help, you can call 502-633-2323. In Shelby County, Tom Lally, WHAS 11, on your side.
Is the start of school for JCPS. We want to give you a quick rundown of what's new and what's not happening right now in the district. In his back to school address, Superintendent Marty Polio said security.
Okay, so thank you, Nanook. Justin, you mentioned pinwheels earlier, so I will be placing pinwheels in my yard on Tuesday in her memory. Aw, that's so sweet, Nanook. Thank you, honey. Very precious. So, Abby has had the other child, from what I understand. I do not know if a family member has that at this point or not. I will find out. I don't know if the child has been awarded to the state, but she has had the child from what I understand. So during all of this, while they threw Serenity on the side of the road, she was pregnant with the boyfriend, because Dakota, the boyfriend, was not Serenity's. He was just the boyfriend in the house who, in my opinion, did something to Serenity. In my opinion, he was the reason for her dying. But she was also pregnant while she was on the run. And now she has had a child. Didn't someone try to blame the bio dad? Yes, the step, or sorry, not the step. One of the grandmothers was saying it was the bio dad, and they kind of tried to throw it on the bio dad when nothing of the sort happened. There was no way he could have done this whatsoever. I mean, he was in Florida for several months using meth while pregnant on the run. That is absolutely right. You're lost. So, what do you mean? So it was the bio mother? Yes, how do I, Serenity's mom, Abby, she was pregnant with another child, would be Serenity's half brother or sister, with Dakota, which is the one that is more or less allegedly killed Serenity. He's this 6'6" man, very tall, very skinny, very evil. And he kills Serenity. I'm going to play something.
Hello, everybody. Tim Jones back for Toyota of Louisville. Big news. Great savings await you right now on Dixie Highway. Come see us. We have 1.9% financing on select vehicles. Toyota of Louisville, a Swope dealership where nobody walks away.
And now we go to new details in the case of that missing 4-year-old Shelby County girl. Serenity McKinney's body was found Friday, and her mother and mother's boyfriend were charged in connection to her death. Her mother, 21-year-old Catherine McKinney, and her boyfriend, 26-year-old Dakota Hill, were charged with murder and abuse of a corpse in Bullitt County today. Wave News reporter Tori Gessner takes it from there.
Serenity McKinney's grandparents reported her missing January 31st. They told police they hadn't seen the girl since Christmas 2020. And after nearly 3 weeks of searching, police found Serenity's body in these woods.
She's got the most contagious smile.
Her smile plastered on missing child posters across Shelby County. Her story, which reached thousands, quickly came to an end Friday.
We hope that this would have a better outcome. That we would find Serenity alive. That's what we wanted. That's what we prayed for.
Instead, police found Serenity McKinney's body out in the open in these woods along Skyview Road, just off Highway 44. The next day, her mother, Catherine McKinney, who goes by Abby, and Abby's boyfriend, Dakota Hill, were charged with murdering her and abusing her dead body. It's something that hits home for Pam Darnell with Family and Children's Place.
It really is just another horrific example of how everyone in our community, number one, is responsible for reporting child abuse and neglect. We don't have to know for 100% sure if it's happening. We just have to have a suspicion.
While it's not clear if Serenity's grandparents reported abuse, they did report her missing January 31st. They told officers they hadn't seen the 4-year-old since Christmas 2020. Serenity's grandparents say her mother, Abby, stopped responding to their texts and calls, cutting off all communication. 2 weeks ago, Abby and her boyfriend were arrested in Kansas, charged with custodial interference and extradited back to Shelby County before police found Serenity's body. Darnell says it's more common for children Serenity's age or younger to die from child abuse because they can't speak up for themselves. COVID only made the situation worse.
If they're living in homes where the people in those homes are hurting them, they have nobody to reach out to if they're very tiny.
Police haven't released any details showing there was abuse in Serenity's case, but Darnell says it's important to know the signs just in case. Look for bruising on the torso, neck, or ears, and any changes in behavior. Adults are required by law to report suspected child abuse in both Kentucky and Indiana.
Not only is it everyone's responsibility, be on the lookout to help keep kids safe. When we do make that call, we might be saving that child's life.
Serenity's family has started a GoFundMe to cover her funeral costs. We've posted a link to that on wave3.com. We've also posted the Kentucky Child Abuse Hotline. In Bullitt County, Tori Gessner, Wave News.
Look how precious. Look how precious that baby is. I agree, 949 Cherry. They should be locked and thrown away on the key. That is for sure. So Abby, the mother, gets with this guy around September of, I think, 2020. The last time after they got together, Dakota, which is the boyfriend, started taking the phone and stuff away from Abby. From what I understand, he was very jealous. And around Christmas time was the last time the family saw Abby, little Serenity, and Dakota. And she said she just needed a break from the family. They hadn't heard from Serenity, Abby, or Dakota. They was just kind of bouncing around Kentucky. They would talk to Abby periodically, every maybe few months or something if they were lucky. But they didn't hear from Serenity. So the family does, they call CPS. And CPS shows up. From what I understand, this is alleged. CPS, Abby talks to CPS and says that Serenity's with somebody else, like a grandparent or something like that, when Serenity wasn't. And they just mark the case off, allegedly, as closed. They end the case when there was no eyes on Serenity at all. The father, the biological father, was in Florida. He had had a criminal history himself. From what I understand, and he would try to get in touch as well. But it was mainly the grandparents who really didn't give up and kept sounding the alarm. Where's Serenity? Where's Serenity? People had spotted Abby and Dakota around town. but they never, ever saw Serenity. Never saw Serenity. They would not speak about Serenity to their family, to their friends, or anything. Now, we had talked to Dakota's ex-girlfriends. Dakota was physically abusive to his exes. Thank you, Cassie. And thank you, McKenna, for becoming a member. I appreciate your membership. Cassie says, I sometimes wonder why I am on these channels. I now know as a victim of child abuse, I am giving a voice that I did not have. That helps me heal. Oh, it all comes full circle. So we talked to Dakota's ex-girlfriends. Dakota tried to control his exes. One of his girlfriends went to work one day, and when she got home, trigger warning, whenever she got home, she found her cat dead on the floor. Dakota had killed the cat. Dakota was known to kill a lot of animals, particularly cats. One of the ex-girlfriends tried to break up with him, and he went over to her house, broke out the screen door, and the girlfriend called 911. And while she was calling 911, Molly's here. Come on. While she was calling 911, the cops was in front of him. He got a piece of that glass and tried to slice his wrist or his throat. I can't remember if it was wrist or his throat. He tried to hurt himself. And then he got away from the cops and he went into the woods. It was a whole event. Over and over with this diabolical, evil bastard. How did this person get girlfriends? From what I understand, just like every person. Here, Marissa, dropping a link. He was very nice in the beginning, but they can only hide their collars for so long. And then the controlling starts. Is Molly in here? Drugs, lots of drugs. So what I'm thinking happened is Dakota was okay. Why is people saying hi, Molly? What I'm thinking has happened is that Dakota was probably withdrawing from drugs one night. And he snapped and did something unthinkable to Serenity. Now, from what I understand, Abby tried to say that she wasn't home the night something happened to Serenity. Molly's here. Some people are saying Molly's here. Some people saying not. Let me call her. Because she really wanted to talk about this. She wasn't here. Hold on. I'm calling her. I don't believe Abby either, Amy. She's hello in chat a while ago.
Your call has been.
Okay. So this was, and we had talked to some of Abby's old friends whenever Abby was kind of in school. And they said Abby was a follower. She was never a leader. She was very quiet, which is the mother. And I think Abby got in way over her head. And I think drugs may have changed her as well. But I want you to look at that picture. And I hope Abby has this in her mind every night when she goes to sleep. Little Serenity looking at her. She loves her mother. And that's the thing, guys. You can be the biggest piece of hockey in the world, and your child will still love you. And I hope, Abby, that you have that in your mind every single night, because you allowed this to happen. Because you had multiple chances to safely get out of this relationship. You had multiple chances to fess up to the police, and you wouldn't do it. You took the fifth. You pleaded the fifth, which is absolutely your constitutional right. But it tells something about you. That you was involved in this. That you was more worried about covering Dakota's ass and your own more than you was telling about the whereabouts of the child that you and Dakota threw on the side of the road while people drove by through the holidays, going to see their loved ones, and she is thrown in a luggage container not very far off a road. And then while you were throwing your daughter on the side of the road, you have another child inside of you. From the evil monster who took your other child's life. And it's not the new child, that Dakota and Abby produced, that this child is innocent. It's a victim of this as well. You don't pick who your family is. You don't pick who your mom, your dad is. It's just happens. It's an act of God, or it's either an act of God or random, whatever you choose to believe in. So I want to play this. It's by WHAS 11. It explains more about the family calling CPS. And this is brought to you by WHAS 11. Full credit is due to them using this under the Fair Use Act of 1976 for commentary purposes.
Questions about the state's involvement in the young girl's life. Kristen Goodwillie talks with family and has more on what the state did to find the little girl.
Sorry, there's no sound. Oh, that's why.
Serenity McKinney was found February.
Now, this is going to show you exactly where she was found. Trigger warning.
We still wait for the final autopsy results on 4-year-old Serenity McKinney. There are questions about the state's involvement in the young girl's life. Many wonder how it took 1 year to list her as a missing person. Kristen Goodwillie talks with family and has more on what the state did to find the little girl.
It's along this wooded area that 4-year-old Serenity McKinney was found February 20th, 2022.
There's no reason for this. There were family members that wanted her, that asked to keep her.
According to Serenity's grandparents, the child was last seen December 2020, last heard on the phone in June 2021, then nothing. Family says her mother, Catherine Abby McKinney, and her boyfriend, Dakota Hill, isolated themselves.
She started blocking everybody in June and then finished blocking everybody around September. Red flags started going up.
Abby and Dakota are now charged in Serenity's murder. Family believe they are just one aspect of Serenity's death and that there needs to be more accountability.
CPS needs to be held accountable for what they did. They never laid eyes on Serenity.
An aunt of Abby's, who asked not to be named, shared phone records and messages she says highlights a bigger issue. Phone records show the aunt called LMPD's non-emergency number 6 times between June 26th and June 28th. She says she was asking for a wellness check on Serenity. These messages show a conversation between her and Abby, where Abby says, "Aunt, did you have the well check thing done?" We've requested those recorded calls to dispatch, as well as body cam video from the wellness checks, and have been told LMPD needs to approve their release. Shortly after, Serenity's great-grandma says she called CPS's hotline to report abuse.
Call into the hotline. There's not a confirmation that the report was ever made.
At a loss of what to do next, the family called their friend Shannon Lehman, who's a board-certified behavioral analyst.
Because I've been in social services for practically 20 years, The family reached out to me and was telling me what was going on.
Lehman said she filed a report online. This is the email confirmation she received.
That said I filed the report and that if they chose not to open or not to investigate for any reason, they would follow up with me by email. And then I never received nothing from them.
In the past, Lehman says CPS contacted her to clarify statements made on a report. She never got any calls with this one. I requested Serenity's files from the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services. The cabinet denied my request, citing a statute that says a child's file can only be made public where child abuse or neglect has resulted in a child fatality or near fatality, and that the cabinet is required to conduct an internal review. Until that review is complete, we can't get those.
Now, I called back in June. This is a small where the autopsy was performed. It is at the coroner's office and is also a funeral home. And I called back in June to see if the autopsy results had been released. And they put me on hold. I spoke to the director, and they had told me that they had not had the autopsy results released yet. Obviously, they have a cause of death, but from what I know at this time is they have not released those results. Maybe they are waiting for, the trial to release those, the cause and the manner of death. So they're supposed to have their hearing, the court, I guess their sentencing and their court, if they're found guilty at least, in September or October. I can't remember if it's September or October at this moment, but I know it's this fall. And you can bet Marissa and I will be there in that courtroom. Supporting that family. God bless the family members who did not let up in searching the whereabouts of where this baby girl was. Because if not, she would probably still be missing today.
Those records.
My report was filed July 8th. And if I find out that she was still alive on July 8th.
So right here, this road where they're walking on is where Serenity was found. Marissa, get up here. It is sealed for trial. This one really hurts. This case really hurts. Joan, we are going to make sure that they're both in jail. I dropped a link, Marissa, but I'll drop it again. We're going to make sure of that.
I'm going to be even more devastated because that means she could have been saved.
It also means we can't corroborate the family's claims that the cabinet closed their case.
How do you go do a child protective to check on a child and then say that they're okay if you never see them?
We asked if social workers ever close a case without seeing a child. They sent us regulation that states social workers must meet face to face with a child. At this point, they won't tell us if they ever saw Serenity.
Do you think that Serenity fell through the cracks?
Absolutely.
In 2021, the last time family says they heard from Serenity, the state saw 208 child deaths or near deaths related to reported abuse, according to a report from the cabinet. The report also says that in the last 5 years, 71% of child deaths and near deaths directly related to abuse already had social workers investigating the families.
If it's not in the policy, I think there should be a policy that if a CPS report is filed on a child, regardless, someone should lay eyes on the child.
I'm Kristen Goodwillie, WHAS 11, on your side.
Serenity's mother and her boyfriend, Dakota Hill, are being held in the Bullitt County Jail on a $1 million full cash bonds. They are back in court on June 6th.
So that says a lot. That says a lot. CPS never saw Serenity. Never saw her. And they closed the case.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, I'll tell you what, everything that you've gotten right, I can confirm with the family. So, yes, they don't know exactly what happened to her specifically because it's sealed until the trial. They know that we're going live about this story. They appreciate it. And the woman that we spoke to last time, who was the grandmother, Daphne, the one that was sticking up for her daughter, she is basically doing a press junket, talking to the press. And when that's all finished, she said that she could be done on Monday and that
I thought it was Tuesday.
Or Tuesday, that she'll talk to us. But she's got to be careful of not slipping. And that's something that me and Justin totally respect.
Yeah. In fact, maybe we should do that pre-recorded.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Pre-recorded, not live at all.
That way, if she does slip, we can edit that out.
Right. It's sad that we had to wait this long, but I don't think that she was in any condition at all for a nice send-off, if you can read between the lines. Her funeral's going to be at the end of the month. Justin and I asked if we could be there. Of course, they said yes, and the family thanked us for what we've done. But honestly, I feel like we haven't even done enough. So they're looking for laws to be placed, and I believe that law goes back to CPS, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And why is she doing a press junket? To speak to the.
They don't want Serenity's name to be forgotten, and they don't want this to happen to other children.
Yeah, they that's why they want to get this thing out and have certain laws and statutes put in place in her name. That's why you would do press junket, and I'm really hopeful that CPS starts to take a little bit more responsibility and accountability.
Did you see that 71% of these child deaths already had CPS involved?
That's a sin. That's a sin.
204 deaths in the state of child deaths or near child deaths. 204 or 211, I can't remember. It was 200 and something.
Yeah. I mean, there's a Netflix documentary about the court trials of Gabriel Hernandez, Los Angeles, where 3 CPS workers were on trial. And this poor little boy was tormented and beaten and starved and to death. And they were out there. And guess what? They were found not guilty, these people.
I think we need to, after this is done, I think we need to write Mitch McConnell,
Okay.
go to his office
Okay.
in Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that this is changed.
I'll tell you one thing. If anything really disappoints me in this world, it's CPS. You know, I've had to deal with CPS for basically nefarious reasons,
Right.
not because I beat my son up.
But Marissa,
Starved.
that's the problem.
That is the problem. It is.
Because you know, one of my best friends is a CPS worker. You know
I
that.
know.
And these people call on people who don't need it, loading these workers down. You know what I mean? I mean, they have to check on every child, but
Right.
they're,
They're
you know,
over. Then
they're
they're overstacked. Yeah.
overstacked. They have to do their caseload, which is what they already have,
Yeah.
and then they have to run to these houses every single day. You know,
Yeah.
some of them knowing that
Every single, and
there's
they know.
nothing here.
And exactly, they've closed it out 3 times, and on the 4th time, it was just. I mean, they went to the high school, my son's high school. They came to here, talked to my husband first, and they came back, talked to me again, and then went back to the school. All over a report that I was doing Xanax. And what do you know? I said, hold on, how about this? How about you take a picture of everything that I'm prescribed? And here's the dates. And I said, you got a urine cup? I pulled down my pants. She goes, oh, no, you could have closed the door. I said, no, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, I remember that. You said, here, let me pee in front of
There
you.
you go. And the girl walked out. She knew Violet's name. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And the thing is at first, your attitude is like, well, someone like me, you know, your attitude is like, oh, whoa, hold on. Let me explain exactly who I am before you judge me and
Right.
look through my refrigerator and look through my pantry and see if my son has a mattress. Before you do that, how about I tell you what I do? Oh, yeah. She said, oh, yeah, we were told that you made a YouTube live. Of course, we didn't have the proof that you asked your son to go upstairs and get a weapon. And I'm like, okay, what weapon? She goes, I don't know. They didn't give me the video. I was like, oh, okay. She's like, what kind of weapons do you have? Well, Adrian said, I don't think Jake's aware that we have guns.
Right.
He goes, and he could never get into it because it's a fingerprint. You can put your fingerprint on it.
Yeah.
Oh, so back to the thing. When every time the girl came back and she was pregnant, you know, it was, I can't believe I have to do this, but I have to come out. She's like, I'm trying to write it off, blah, blah, blah. So honestly, I can't imagine being a person that dislikes someone so much that I pick up the phone and call CPS on someone just because I don't like them.
Right.
Because you want to know something? It to me, I don't think it really hurt me, but because I know there's nothing to be afraid of.
Right. I mean, but this is the thing. It hurts other children who need
Absolutely. Exactly.
it. It
And
hurts
she said that.
the
She
children.
said
I know they do.
she said, what was it? 92%? She said, she goes, She's like, oh my gosh. She goes like 92%. She told me, she was like, please never record us. Don't record us, please, please, please. Oh, of course, I'm fine with that. She said, are all calls vengeance? She goes, they never leave their name, they never leave their phone number. But I heard a rumor. I'm not sure, but I heard a rumor that that's gonna change. That you're gonna have to show your identity.
Yeah.
And people will be charged for doing that. Because you want to know something?
Yes, they're changing that.
When CPS was at my house, the last time, guess what? A kid 20 minutes later was killed. He was 11. He was 11. He was beaten to death by the mother's boyfriend 20 minutes away from here. So, you know what? Can I go on some big rant about it? No, I don't think that I should need to go on a big rant and say, hey, because we all know. We all know that that kid needed help. That child needed help. And instead, this girl's over here, hanging out, drinking iced tea, and petting a little dog and having fun. No, it's not okay. And you can't call someone a drug dealer and a Xanax addict. So what if I was? It's not like I was smoking crack and offering crack and heroin to my kid. That's not really, Bullhorn Betty, this is something that we have protested together because this is wrong. And we need to educate the public just a little bit more. I'm saying it, that if you do not want these children, no questions asked, drop them off at a hospital, a police station, or a fire station. Do not throw your baby in a dumpster.
Ever.
Do not leave your baby alone in a motel room for someone else to babysit. Do you know that these CPS workers get calls and they end up at crappy motels? It's true. Did you know that their mothers are so strung out that they sell their food stamps for cash for drugs? It's true.
Every day.
And the thing is, I try not to be angry at CPS. And my husband wasn't angry at all. He was like, go ahead. You want to put me on their radar? Okay. Go ahead. What are they going to do? They're going to have to really find something seriously wrong in my household and with my child who's never smoked a cigarette, never done anything. He's an athlete, and he's practically, he takes all these vitamins and he works out. Like, leave the boy alone. Leave the children out of it. There's a special place in people's heads where I don't understand why you think that it's okay to attack people's children just because you don't like what they say on the internet.
Well, it's not just that, Marissa. It's family members who are fighting with other family members,
Absolutely.
friends who's fighting with and these CPS workers, they have a very high burnout rate.
Absolutely. I can imagine.
A very high burnout
I couldn't
rate.
do it. Justin, how long do you think that I would last as working for CPS?
You wouldn't last a day. You would not last a day, Marissa. I know you. You would not last a day. You're very
And the thing
sensitive.
is, I have no problem standing out there with a sign, because you want to know something? There's a lot of mothers that feel this way, and there's a lot of mothers that have been shamed. And it's a shameful feeling to think that someone's going to show up at your door unexpected and say, here, I'm here to judge you. Really now? You're a 26-year-old young lady and you're here to judge me as a parent. Come on in. I know I'd want to take them all home. No, I couldn't do it. I know that I couldn't do it. But one thing I can do is, really. And the thing is I'm not against CPS, but they always seem to. I want to know. This is what I really want to know. And I know that you have a friend, neighbor, everyone at CPS, someone that really worked at CPS. Like, what holds them back from moving forward? Is it too difficult? Is it a
No, I'll tell you a lot of it has to do with the judges.
really
Yes.
family court judges?
Yes, because to remove a child, you have to have a judge to approve it.
Mhm.
And some judges do not want to remove children from the home. No matter what, almost it has to, so it's up to a lot of the judges. Now, excuse me. LB,
Mhm.
her mother-in-law was I think she was an advisor for CPS. And she said the same thing. It was a lot of the judges. And she no longer works for CPS. She worked for them for a long time.
I mean, talking about foster homes, to be quite honest with you, Jake's going to be going off to college in 2 years. So, would I love to have a place where I can take kids in and really take care of them, any ages, pregnant girls, blah, blah. I would love to do that. But because there's so much BS on the internet about me, all these lies on the internet about me, I think that I'd be a little just to like, you want to know something? I don't want to have to explain. I don't want to have to explain my problem with CPS and why people hate me because of my judgmental, controversial attitude on true crime. You get what I'm saying? So it's either give up YouTube and have everything wiped out or off of the internet, or just continue to stay on the internet and bitch about all these kids that are dying every single day. Because I think that every time I'm on with you, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Give me that look. You're like, oh, is she going on?
No. I was thinking something. Go ahead. I was going to think. No, please.
Okay.
I promise.
I'm sorry. I love you.
No, talk. I'm fine.
Because
I swear.
one thing, I'm just going to be 1 second then.
What are you talking about? I was
Almost
reading a
every-
comment and thinking about something.
It's funny. It's because I say it in a lot of videos, but I actually said it in a 2 a.m. video last night with Justin. Believe it or not, me and Justin, we don't just talk about going on vacation or pretty things that we got on our gifting. I said to him last night, I said, I don't understand why if they don't want these kids, they don't just come to my freaking house and just show up. And he said, I know how you feel. So one of the reasons why I prefer to talk to Justin and have specific people on my show is because I know that they truly care. You're with me, Ange, then you're my people. Because guess what? I had a lot of friends on YouTube and they just wanted to hear drama. When I went over and was like, you know what? This is really where my heart is. A lot of those friends really never wanted to talk to me ever again. And they're just not my people, whether they don't have children of their own or whether they just like drama and stuff like that. It's really not who I am. So I can tell you that I know for a fact that Justin and we stay on top of these cases, whether we've talked about them in the past or not. I'm glad that you had Monkey as a topic last night. On my channel, no one gravitated towards this. And
People starting to talk about it now. People starting to show some more interest in it finally.
Well, I'm wondering about the mother now, and I never did before.
I'm not worried about the mother. I'm more worried
thinking
about the
about
father.
her. I'm just saying I'm thinking.
Right.
Like, does she know something that the father's not
I don't know.
Does she suspect that her husband's involved? It's
She
weird.
doesn't.
She doesn't?
Mm-mm.
All right. Okay. All right.
But Bullhorn
Oh.
Betty says the judge sent Harmony to her violent father's custody without a home study. I cannot imagine sending a child somewhere without a home study. I've had a home study. I mean, anybody that has kept a foster child in their home is required to have a home study, a background check, a drug test. Ah. And then you see these cases like Harmony's. No home study. Just throw them in. Can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
Well, if you're going to say that it's underfunded, in the comments you said that CPS is way underfunded. So these funds obviously come from the state. Yes. So it's not getting enough. Well, then how about we cut funds from like the superfluous, places, like just oh, we need the money for this. We need money for this. No, you don't. Stop it. Do you get what I'm saying? There's
Right.
got to be something a little bit understaffed. Yeah. Well, guess what? I'm not gonna run and apply for a job for me to. I mean, it's just like being a cop. Imagine, like with police, they don't know what they're stepping into. That's scary. If you think about it, imagine you're a 24-year-old and you're like, yeah, I'm a social worker. This is what I always want to do. I always wanted to help. Here you are saying, ding dong, you're unarmed, just like a police officer. And you're walking in and you're like, whoa, how do you know that you're not going to find a total crackhead, that someone's on bath salts? I mean, imagine what these people are walking into. Are they armed? Are CPS armed? Because I would be like, listen, I'm going to need my conceal and carry license. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, well, then who's going to protect me? You want me to walk into a mysterious motel room and find a baby? Because guess what? We've covered, oh my God, was that baby that they found in the pool? The father sodomized the baby to death.
In a pool or in a
They
hotel
found the
room?
baby in the pool. They found the baby in the pool, but it was sodomized to death by this random guy. They caught him. And then we had the baby out of Cook County, Chicago. James
I
Riker
remember
Beale,
that
2 years
one.
old. James Riker Beale, yeah, sodomized to death by his own father. The toothbrush, they examined him. And they did nothing. And then I flew to Chicago, and right before I flew to Chicago, I said, hey, Palatine Police, I'm coming with about 4,000 people, blah, blah, blah. Then they go and they arrest him, the father, right? They go and arrest him. And sure enough, he gets bailed out, and they call off the protest right before I even got there. And we've never gotten an update since. And that sucks. It was terrible. It was terrible. A 2-year-old baby. And guess what? CPS knew about that. They knew. They can't even use pepper spray? Wow.
There's a Colorado man allegedly smoked pot with missing 7-year-old boy, locked him in a chicken coop after doing meth. I mean, I get these on my desk every day. You know what I mean? Every day.
Every single day. Trust me, there's so many stories to talk about. and you just keep going, And I've been told that, oh, Marissa, you're a little too emotional, blah, 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 blah. You want to know something? I don't think I don't want to hear people tell me that I'm too emotional, because you want to know something? If I ever get so desensitized and lose that genuine empathetic quality that I have towards these children, then I've completely lost myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to change that. I think I like the way that I talk about these things. I think I'm proud the way I'm using my voice. And if I want to say that a mother is a complete piece of shit, I'm going to, because I mean it. Oh, Marissa, blah, blah, blah. No, there's no excuse. You want to know what else I think? You know what I think they should do? I think that if you're going to make a report that something's happening at 123 Main Avenue or whatever, I think that you need to submit a copy of yourself holding up your license, and they say, yeah, we're going to keep you anonymous, but we want to know who you are making the report.
Yes.
That's what they should do.
Yep.
And if it's a false report, and they will know if it's a false report, they will tell your kid to go to a doctor, where the doctor will go like this and look at the baby's hole to see if there's any sort of trauma. And they look. Can you imagine? All right, well then it's a false report. And the thing is a false report is a felony. Well, that's it. I think that these people should be held accountable for it. A year in jail and a $5,000 fine. That's what I would say. A year in jail, $5,000 fine. Right? You get more for him.
Can you look into missing 3-year-old Linda Sidar? Yes. I think I've done a little bit on. That's a very sad case. The Afghani parents. Thank you. Yes, it's look at. I mean, see this hotel right here. This hotel. A 33-year-old father was charged. Was arrested and charged after his 1-month-old infant was found dead in a motel. According to Houston police on Tuesday, August 2nd, parole officers responded to a call for assistance for Houston Fire Department emergency personnel at this hotel location. An unresponsive 1-month-old infant was reportedly transported to Texas Children's Hospital and pronounced deceased. The infant was found with injuries, and its death was considered suspicious. Both parents were reportedly uncooperative with the investigation. The father, Jamal Robertson, was identified as a suspect and taken into custody. According to police, he was reportedly charged with injury to a child, seriously bodily harm. The infant's cause of death will be confirmed by the Harris County Institute of Forensic Science. I mean, it's a 1-month-old baby. How do you kill a 1-month-old baby? Drugs. It's always drugs, generally. Drugs or a stepdad, isn't it, Marissa?
It's usually the step parent, yeah. A 1-month-old baby. Houston's bad, dude. Dude, if anyone, I'm telling you. Because remember, Iqmal said we should do one in Texas? Because Houston, I would love to protest CPS Houston. Call up Bullhorn Betty and be like, get on a plane. I'll pay for your ticket. Get this organized. Because Houston has a lot of bad cases coming out of Houston. And AFC podcast last night said Texas, I hate to do this to you, but it's Texas again. Texas, Texas. He said it last night. I was looking at it saying, oh my God, what is going on with Texas?
San Antonio guardian arrested after toddler found hogtied for wanting candy. One was hogtied, another in a covered playpen. This case is a really sad case right here, Marissa. Let me show you this. Look at this little boy. This little boy, this mother, I actually watched the interrogation.
Really?
She was with this man in Ohio, and he told her to get rid of her kids. Get rid of her kids. So she drives out to this country road or something, and there's a porta potty out there. And she says the kids said they need to use the bathroom, so I stopped there. And this little boy was asleep, and she woke him up, and the kids were in the porta potty, and the mom took off. The little boy had the handle of the van, and she ran over him in a car, in her van. And she drove up the road, and she turned around and came back. She said she tried to do CPR, but his head was crushed.
Why did she come back again?
She got the other kids and took them back, and she got home. She laid this little boy out, like in the front porch or something like that. And then her and the boyfriend went the next day. They threw him in the river with a block or something like that.
To weigh him down.
Yes.
So that he couldn't be found.
And then they reported him missing. And the police officers immediately,
They knew. Foul play.
They knew. And they found him. And they're both going to jail, where they can fucking rot for all I care.
Dude, if you're ever around a man, I know I have to tell you ladies this, but if you're ever around a man that shows some sort of disdain about your children, or your children are telling you, Mommy, I really don't like your new boyfriend, blah, blah. Listen. Remember, your children, they got that sixth sense. And I know that for some single women, they don't want to be them. They don't want to be alone. They want to be in love again. They want to get taken care of and this and that. I get it. But guess what? Don't lower yourself to be with a junkie or someone that has no empathy. Oh, he's going to change. No, he's not. This happens every single day. Put value on yourself and your children. Sorry.
No, I agree. It's just, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Just trying to find that video. Here we go. And the man, he was just a piece of crap. Absolutely a piece of crap. Let me see, what is this? Find it.
Caught you in like 5 lies in about 2 minutes.
Another round of interrogations for Brittany Gosney. Here she explains what happened inside her Middletown home the night before her youngest son, James Hutchinson, was killed. Gosney claims her boyfriend, James Hamilton, abused all 3 of her kids.
He had tied up all 3 of my children, stuck dirty underwears in their mouth. And he was beating them, literally beating them. I could hear thumps on the floor.
Gosney says the kids spent about 3 hours hogtied in a closet. She says Hamilton was going to get rid of them by leaving them at Rush Run Park.
Yes, he said all he can do is just leave them there or tie them up to something and leave them there and let the coyotes eat them.
Instead, Gosney herself drove her children there in the middle of the night. She dropped them off, and as she drove away, James held onto a door handle. It's believed he was dragged to his death. The next day, Gosney and Hamilton drove James's body to the 275 bridge in Lawrenceburg, making a brief stop so Hamilton could tie a cinder block around the 6-year-old's body.
And he had this rope that he got for work use and was using it to wrap the James and the center block. Stopped to the middle of the bridge, told me to get out, hurry up and open the back passenger side door. And I was to grab his feet and help him toss the child over. We tossed him around the splat because of the brick being heavy.
Right.
And Gosney did plead guilty to murder. She's currently serving a life sentence. Hamilton pleaded guilty to kidnapping, gross abuse of a corpse, and 2 counts of child endangering. He's scheduled to be sentenced next month. Reporting live tonight in Butler County, Karen Johnson.
It's a horrible case. He is a monster. Maybe they haven't found him. You're right. Maybe they have not found the little boy. I can't. But she admitted it. I don't know, Marissa. It's every day. The other kids have been sent to good homes. Okay, they didn't find the body of the little boy. I agree it should be death. I mean, he looked like a freaking prize, didn't he? Freaking prize. What are you doing, Marissa?
Looking up stuff. They're just going back and forth with the grandmother. Yeah, she said that the trial is going to be.
Is it September or October?
She didn't say exactly.
She told us when they rescheduled it. Yeah, before.
Yes, she did, and I sent it to you. I think it's October.
I was thinking September,
Yeah.
October. I
It
couldn't
had a black background, right? Yeah.
think so. Oh, I'm going to that. You can bet your bottom dollar.
So she had her baby boy.
Yeah. It was a
She had her
boy.
little baby boy.
Okay.
Yay.
Do you know who has it?
You know how I get. She said, yeah, I know where it is. Abby and Dakota signed adoption papers to Dakota's mom, the boyfriend. This is what we heard. I personally think that it is sad and not good for the child. It's a mixed up situation. The boy will now find out when he is older that his dad and mom killed his sister.
Yes.
Probably in some way, they think they have a better chance of seeing that child in the future. And I said, oh my God. And she said, I know, we need to pray for that child. They don't have him yet? They don't have him yet? Okay. Ugh. I mean, like, what I wonder is, how did he talk this chick into hurting her? I mean, like, she was so loved.
Yeah.
I mean, did he find her annoying?
Who?
Dakota Hill.
Did he
With
find?
Serenity.
I think he snapped one night. I think he snapped. I think he was coming off of drugs or he was on drugs and that he snapped.
Enough with the dating. Please.
I'm blocking him.
Oh, God almighty.
Some
We're
men won't
talking
raise another
about
person's child.
Serenity McKinney.
Well,
Kentucky.
if you won't raise another person's child, then don't get in a relationship with someone who has another child. That's what you do. So, all right. Well, I'm going to jump off, Marissa. Are you going live in a little bit?
No, my husband and Jake will be back in a few minutes. So,
Have you seen your husband yet?
yes.
Yay!
Yay! Bought lots of
That's
presents.
Did he? Aw.
Okay.
I was thinking about him earlier. I was like, I wonder if he made it back yet. I like when he's home.
He came back with a nice little tan.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I was like, wow, look at you. I didn't get to get out much.
He's
All
a
right, I'll talk to you
globetrotter.
soon. Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Love you all. Thank you guys for joining us. God bless each and every one of you. We will I may be live later in a little bit tonight. Might just talk a little bit or something. So love you all. God bless.